Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Right, the car today is a Volkswagen Fox 2007. I'm not sure which engine is on this. I know it's petrol because I saw it running. And the car came to me exactly as you guys can see, okay? And the problem with the car is that when the car starts fine, as I'm going to show you. So that's the problem, is that middle screen in there doesn't show anything, okay? I don't know, guys, if this is a common issue or something like that, but I don't know. No, I never had this issue. Don't know if it's common on these cars or whatever. But the owner of the car brought me this. So he bought a replacement. And he said to me, oh, I put in there, but the car doesn't start. And of course it doesn't, because the keys are programmed into the cluster. So right now, he asked me to put this one in and program it. Now, the problem with this, to be programmed is, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to use the same transponder. I will have to correct the mileage, etc, etc, etc. So right now, guys, I should have thought before I start recording. I don't know how I'm going to approach this. I can imagine, I can see there is one of those flexible cables, and that's going to be my issue somewhere. So I think I'm not going to be able to do a lot with that cluster. Most likely that ribbon cable is going to be somehow soldered to the motherboard, and it's not going to be something I'm going to be able to pull from this screen and put it in there. I'm gonna pull that one out. If they are the same part number and if the internals are the same, I think I'm gonna do this in a slightly different way, but I don't want to spoil it just yet. So let's gonna remove that one out. And there is a light in there. What's that light? What's those lights? Right, so the middle on the screen is gonna be for, so that one right in the middle, it's going to be for the needle. Then the yellow one on the side, it's going to be the yellow one on the side. Fuel! Then handbrake. And then seat belt. And the yellow one on the side, airbag. Okay. I was only asked to do the cluster. So let's gonna remove that cluster. Most likely take it to the workshop and go from there. Okay, just a quick thing before I do that. I don't know how this is going to play out, so I just thought to connect the maxi Cs to get the mileage of the car, just in case if I go the route of, I don't know yet, guys. So, but that's the mileage of the car. Okay, so now we are going to carry on. Okay, so a couple things before we carry on. So I've plugged in that cluster. That cluster reads, so obviously as you've seen, the cluster shows 90,000 in kilometers, 90,000 miles. That's going to be something like 60,000 miles, somewhere around there, 70,000 miles. That one shows under 150 something thousand kilometers, so it's way higher than this one. Another thing, I've actually, after that, I plugged in the IM608. The IM608 actually does have the facility to actually allowing you to do the cluster replacement. I couldn't get the pin from this cluster. I could only retrieve the pin from the car through the engine ECU. So I know the pin of the car, but only through the engine ECU. I couldn't read the pin through the cluster, which means I'm not going to be able to retrieve the pin code from that cluster. I'm not 100% sure if this is a IMO 3 or 4. If it's the 3, I would need both pins. If it's the 4, I don't think I do. I think this is IMO 4. I just need the, what's it called, the CS, which is, I can't remember what it stands for. But the problem is, either way I would do this, either being 3 or 4, doesn't really matter. Even if I could replace this cluster through the OBD port, none of the replacement procedures actually touch the mileage, which means I would not be able to get the mileage correct. So I would still have to come here and somehow do what we're going to do now, which is, well, let's see how it's going to play out, but I think I'm going to do it one certain way. I'm going to try that first. If that works, then that's what we're going to do. But just bear with me. I will take you through step by step, or as I go along. But one thing is interesting. So this cluster is made in Brazil. So at least that one was. There we go. Made in Brazil. And it was Patricia that worked on this. Hi Patricia. Patricia, you haven't done a very good job. But the truth is, someone else has been already here. Look at that. Someone else, and I'm sure that was not Patricia. That was someone else did that crap. You can see there's kind of, it looks to me like super glue. Maybe not, because the super glue usually turns sort of white, isn't it? So, but you can see it came all the way to this side. So, yeah, definitely someone's been. Who knows if this is actually a replacement screen and someone just messed it up while trying to put this back on the board. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But let's gonna do something and see if that works. Okay, guys, and I've just finished. I haven't tested it yet. Fingers crossed it's gonna work. I think you guys can start to imagine what I've done. So the processor is gone from the old CPU, from the old cluster, including the Megamos, which contains the keys. This is the ones from the replacement, because the new one is actually here under the microscope. I've just been checking to see if there's any shorts or anything like that. Checked all four sides. Everything looks okay to me. I might just gonna go possibly again with the soldering iron, try to make that a little bit better. But I'm really happy. It looks okay, and there's no shorts. Everything is aligned, every single pin. The other side, the Megamas, is a quite bigger chip, so it's quite easy to do. So fingers crossed, guys. I'm gonna plug this in just the way it is. I'm not gonna put it all back together. Just plug it in and see what happens. Okay, guys, shall we do this together? Right, let's see what happens. This way, yeah. Okay, ignition on. Oh crap. Everything is good. Okay, so the car started, which means everything is good. But I have no middle screen. Damn it. Okay, what could be wrong? Let me go over the processor again. Really? The only thing I needed to work. You bastard. So everything is good, it starts, everything's fine, so yeah. Just a bloody screen. Okay, let's go back, and maybe the processor, I missed something on the processor maybe. I don't know. Let's gonna go and have another look. Right, guys, and look at that. No, where's the key? It took me, well, it took me 2 or 3 attempts, and then it took me actually, I'll explain when I get the back. I know exactly. Start this thing. There we go. Beautiful. So yes, we have an airbag light. 55,507 miles. Spot on. The clock obviously is at 0, but we'll get that sorted. And I now know exactly what happened. I will explain you when I get at the back, while we put all these together. I'll explain you exactly what happened, and maybe for you guys in the future, if you do something like this, or even any other type of processor, soldering and desoldering, you'll know exactly why you might face. To be honest with you, I might going to invest. Well, I'll explain at the back. Okay, so let me explain you exactly what happened. So to remove, okay, so years ago, guys, when I used to do computer repairs, and I used to do reflow chips and reballing, etc., I used to have a proper reflow machine with the ceramic heated base, and with the top ceramic heating element, where you could have different heads for different chip sizes. You could have just the element to eat like BGA chips, where the chip needs to be heated up uniformly because there is balls underneath that needs to melt. But I also used to have a head just for this type of chips with an actually opening all the way around to eat just the legs, and you could set up a eating curve, how long you want on a certain temperature, so all programmable. Anyway, that was years ago. I sold that thing. Probably today I regret, because I won't get one today for the same price probably. But anyway, but what happened here, guys, was to remove a chip like this, and bigger the chip, more complicated it can be. I'm just want to try to show you here. So what I usually do, guys, smaller chips usually is not so much of a problem. This chip is a decent size already, and anything bigger than this, it starts to become more complicated. But anyway, what happened here in this case was that when I was eating the chip, in order to lift the chip, what I've done is I put my tweezers in a corner, and I start to push. That's usually how I do it, and I start to eat more in this area here as it starts to lift. And as you start to separate the chip, the legs from the board, you start to eat more at the back. So you start like from here, and you go all the way to this corner, and you carry on lift the chip. What happened in my case, in this case, and probably this will be the same, when I did that, the chip very, I think was like microns, yeah. The chip, because of the heat, the chip kind of bent a little bit. So in this case, what I had to do, actually, believe me or not, was to get this and check for continuity. Oh crap. Check for continuity from here, from every single leg to the end of the lane. And I start to discover that this corner here was not making connections. Okay, so all I had to do was I got a smaller tip for my soldering iron. Okay, and I started to solder bit by bit, and as I was doing it, I was pushing it down the legs so they go to the pad to solder properly. So I've done this corner here, most of this area here, and I've done a little bit of this corner, and well, you've seen it working. So all I'm gonna do now is obviously put the cluster back together, try it on the car again, make sure everything's okay, and I might scan the car for the airbag just in case if the guy asks me, or if you guys are curious about it, and I'll show you what the airbag problem is. But for the cluster, guys, I'm really happy that's working okay, and yeah, let's kind of put this back together now. Okay, guys, just finished aligning the needles for speedo, etc, etc. I believe it's okay now, so I'm going to put everything now in place, close the dash, put it in place, and then wrap up this video because I probably have about 10 minutes daylight. Yeah, so I think the airbag, guys, is going to stay for another video if the guy wants me to look at it. If he doesn't want me, he will go like this. Okay, all in place. Let's going to do a last test. And there we go. Let me take the handbrake off. Yeah, it stops. Let me put this seat belt, make sure that light of the seat belt goes off. Yeah, it goes off. So RPMs are working. Petrol, as you have seen, it came up to the reserve. Now let's just quickly check that the speedometer is working. I'm not going to be able to drive too fast here because I have another car behind me, but right from here to the fence should be able to see it moving just a little bit. There we go. So it is working. Right, guys, let's gonna wrap up this video. If I would have get this car from the beginning with the initial problem, I would have probably get the screen with or I'm not sure if it's just the screen or if you can buy just the cable. I had a quick look. I think you can buy just the cable But obviously, to be fair, yeah, if that was from original, because after the mess someone did on that, forget about it. Yes, if you have probably other type of tools, you could probably do this a replacement quite quick through the OBD, maybe, I don't know. I could have tried, another thing I could have tried to do, to be honest with you, I could have tried that, was actually read the processor data and copy it to the replacement, and then swap just the Meganos chip, whatever that is, that contains the keys. But to be fair with you, it's not too tricky. It was tricky in the end because the chip didn't set properly on the pads, and I had to go over it a couple times. But other than that, guys, is a job done, and maybe another way to show you how to do something, I don't know, guys. A different approach, I guess. So I think this is gonna be the end of this video. Again, and repeating myself, if the guy asks me to have a look at the airbag, we'll have a look. Otherwise, will be no video for it, obviously. It will go like that. So let's gonna wrap up this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there's some information here you guys can find useful. If you do have any questions, any comments, you know how it works, put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.